Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we are broadcasting from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta. And if you're interested in banking with the best bank in Georgia, not my view, but that's what Time Magazine's Money.com says in a survey. Actually, it is my view. And it's my view, not from a survey, but from my own personal experience. How about that? And I have worked with Renaissance both personally and with clients, and they're a terrific bank because they've got real nice people, and those nice people have a lot of services at hand to be able to take care of your business. So if that's something you're looking for in a bank and you're tired of the big bank experience, you know what I mean by that. You go to renaissancebank.com and find their local office and give them a call. I think you'll be glad that you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Iris Grimm. Iris is a executive leadership coach and trainer, and not just a human trainer.
Correct.
Iris, welcome back.
Thank you very much, John.
Yeah, good to have you back in the studio. Let's give everyone an introduction to you and the great work you do.
All right. So as you said, my name is Iris Grimm. And as most of you can hear, I don't sound like I'm from South Georgia. I'm actually from Germany, East Germany to be exact. And I have been living here in the Atlanta area now for almost 27 years, so for a long time. Mm-hmm. Have been having my business for the last 22 years, doing coaching, leadership development, that type of work.
Terrific. And you have a special way of, I guess, delivering your leadership thoughts and principles, right?
Right, yeah.
Talk about that.
I have a program that is called Doggone Leadership, mm-hmm. Where it's really all about transforming leadership with, for, and from a dog. So in other words, it's what I call a mutual supportive relationship where my clients partner with their dog, where their dog brings the best out of the human and the human is bringing out the best of the dog. And when a human can do that with their dog, then when they are going back into the workplace, the skills that they've learned or that they learn and apply daily with their dog are similar to how they can apply it in the workplace with their colleagues and the people that they work with.
Now, you must be a dog lover, right? Is this how you came up with this concept?
Right. Yeah. Completely. I mean, I'm 100% dog lover.
Okay.
Even though I never had a dog when I was a kid, I got my first dog, 21 years ago. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Started out, it was a German Shepherd at the time.
Of course. Imagine that, right? Yeah. No prejudice at all. Right.
And we did something at the time, a dog sport called Schutzhund, which means protection dog, and they now changed the title of this too. But we Germans, we like to be very precise and do everything methodical. But it's really a sport that they use for certain working breeds, such as the German Shepherd, the Rottweiler, the Doberman, mm-hmm. To test their workability, to test whether they have the courage and the drive to do the work of a protection dog. And so when I did this and I competed with my dog, we went all over the Southeast, meeting with police dog trainers, etc. So I learned a lot about dogs. But then when my dog retired, I thought, wow, now I have all of this knowledge. What am I going to do with it? And at that time, I started to get involved in the rescue world. And I started out with a dog owner training program, where people could come to my house. And I said, just make a $30 donation to the rescue group of your choice. bring your challenge, bring your question about dogs, and I do, a training to help you overcome some of these challenges. And so, out of that really grew then my my knowledge and my experience, and also my wisdom of how much dog training and solving issues with the dog has nothing to do with dogs and more about life and leadership.
Where was the moment, I guess, is the question, where you made the connection between what you were learning about dogs and the lessons in what you were learning that applied to leadership for us as humans?
So, considering that when I did this work, and out of that even came then where people said to me, "Hey, Iris, would you come to my home and help me one-on-one with my dog?" Because all of these programs during these programs, when I did these programs, they never brought their dog with them. As a matter of fact, now I do this training online, right? Because of COVID, I moved it online. It's now on Zoom. So the dog never had to be present. However, there were times when people then said, "All right, can you come to my home and help me one-on-one?" And again, when I did that, there came a time in my life, where I thought, "Oh man, I really love to help dogs and people. How can I combine this with my coaching in a more meaningful way?" And it really fell into place with one of my clients who was a business owner. And he worked with me because of all of the issues that he had going on in his business with his staff. And in one of early on in our conversations, he mentioned on the side that, he has a dog. And I asked him, tell me a little bit about him. And he was saying, well, he's a really great dog. He is also very obedient. However, sometimes when I come home, Jake just jumps up on me. And I don't know what, it's annoying, but that is one thing where he just, it just annoys me when he's doing that. Other than that, he's really good. And at that moment, I easily could have gotten in and could have said, here's how you can fix it or what you can do from a dog training perspective. But I stopped myself. And I said to him at the time, I said, "So what is going on inside of you when your dog Jake is doing that?" And he had no clue. He just said, "Well, what he said is, typically it happens when I come home from work. So it's not like on the weekend or, when he runs errands or anything, but when he comes home." So I said to him, "All right, here's what I want you to do is just next time this happens, just pay attention. Who are you being? What's going on in you? What is happening in your brain? What kind of energy are you sending out?" And so a couple of weeks later, when we met again, I said, did you do this exercise? And he said, "Yes." And what I've learned is when I come home and when I'm stressed or annoyed by something, from work in the way of that really I'm tense, I still can't, shut it off what happened at work. And I said, "Are you realizing what Jake is trying to tell you?" Because dogs like harmony, right? Dogs don't follow unbalanced energy, and stress, annoyance, us not being able to control our emotions and really process life and leave the past behind, right? That is really not calm leadership energy. And Jake was really just there pointing out, "Hey man, you are not yourself." Right. And so he got that. It's like, and that is where I also often say, people are, change is not easy because change requires work. We take the shortcuts for ourselves. When it comes to other people, we don't have always the drive to change. But when it comes to our dog, many people love their dog more than sometimes their children or their husband. But please don't tell them that. Right. But they are willing to make some changes for their dog. And so for him, that was really the message where he got, "Oh wow, this is the impact that that comes out of me not being able to handle my stress and my mental programming better. And so we worked on that. We worked on him, how he has to process, the stressful events in his business, how he could manage himself better, right? It was all about emotional intelligence, all about him becoming more aware of his emotions, becoming more aware of his triggers, but then also being able to process them and in the moment rather than carrying them with them even when he came home.
Wow. A lot there from Iris Grimm, folks, and her practice is called Doggone Leadership. So we were talking about this before we came on the air. So you work mostly one-on-one, right? And you typically incorporate the owner's dog with them in the training, or how does that work? Talk about how that works.
So I do work one-on-one, but this is also mainly a leadership training program that I provide for organizations or in companies. So in that way, it's more a leadership development training in a larger group setting, but then also with the one-on-one component to help people to actually implement whatever it is that they're learning in the group program. Because so many times people go to group programs, they are motivated and inspired for a week, but then it starts to taper off. Respectively, they don't really know how to implement this, right? And so therefore it's a leadership training program, but that also then can be extended into one-on-one work to help people to actually implement this, not only with their dog, but then really also all about implementing it in the workplace. Something tells me if in a group, they're sitting in a group thinking about how old Bill across the room needs this training, right? As opposed to themselves. Right. I love it. But as we were talking before we came on the air, it's really kind of hard for you to be able to do a group session with everybody bringing their dogs. That really doesn't work. Right. So what you're doing is having participants reflect on their relationship with their dog. Right. Yes. It's this is not a dog training program. This is really a leadership development program where people are reflecting on their relationship with their dog, who they are being with their dog, and where I'm also then drawing parallels from the way we are being with our dog and the way we are showing up in the workplace with our staff, with our coworkers, etc. Because there are, and again, because of all of the thinking and the experience that I have with coaching, with leadership coaching, and then also with dog training, I see and I pulled out so many parallels, right, that comes from dog training or that apply in the dog training world and that also apply in the business world. Got it. Now, talk a little bit about the value of the metaphor. I would assume you have clients that don't even own a dog, but they understand the point you're making just because of the metaphor, right, of a relationship with the dog. Right. So, and when I give, for example, when I give talks and presentations, obviously at the beginning, I always ask, who of you has a dog? Who of you does not currently have a dog? Who of you has never had a dog in your life, right? And who of you hates dogs? Right? So that I can get a lay of the land of the audience to see how I can make adjustments along the way and not exclude the people that don't have a dog, but involve them. Because sometimes they may not have a dog, but they may have a cat or, or they say, well, I can't have a dog because I am allergic to dogs, but I love dogs. And I watch all of the Facebook reels, with dogs. I wished I could have one, right? But at the same time, dogs bring the best out of us. Dogs with their innocence, with, what many people call their unconditional love, with their playfulness, they connect us to our heart. And most people nowadays, when we go out into the workplace, most people operate from the neck up, right? We completely leave our heart out. Part of it is some of them have been hurt, right? And therefore protect themselves. Other think, all right, I can't bring this to the workplace because somebody will take advantage of me. You know, just like some people are closing off their heart to a dog because they say, well, you know, I don't like dogs. I'm afraid of dogs. I was bitten by a dog, right? But then again, that is how we close ourselves sometimes off the world because something happened to us in the past and we are just not willing to overcome it. And that is even a message by itself for people to explore it. Well, you know, and again, it does not necessarily have to be with the dog, but where else in your life are you closing yourself off because something happened to you where you got hurt and you are not really living your life and your potential to the fullest? So again, I just use, the conversation about the dog as a spark, to lead them back into their life, to look at their life from a different perspective.
So, Iris, you said that dogs bring out the best in us. Extending that metaphor to leaders, how do the teams that we lead as leaders, how should they bring out the best in us? Because often we don't think about leadership from that perspective, right?
Well, correct. But, you know, it's always a mutually supportive relationship, right? Where I say, number one is leadership. My definition of leadership is the equal commitment to results and relationships, never compromising one for the other, right? Because in the end, we can only get results through leaderships, right? Through leaderships with our staff, through relationships with our staff, through relationships with our clients. So if I want to get these kind of results and these kind of relationships in my workplace, who do I have to become as a leader, right? In other words, I have to bring the best, or I have to work on myself. I have to become more aware of myself, who I am being, and I also have to intentionally create myself in a way that I am flexible to deal with any kind of situation in the company in a constructive way, right? So my desire to produce and perform for the company, but then also my desire to inspire my team creates my motivation to work on myself, which then when I am working on myself, when I am stepping up, when I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, and I am showing up as a better person each and every day, then the people that work with me will be inspired by that and say, wow, look at her, or look at him. I mean, isn't it amazing how he or she has overcome X? I want to be more like that. Because that is really what inspirational leadership and servant leadership is all about, right? Being that inspiration, being that person where people are naturally drawn to, where people feel good when they are in your presence, where people feel safe in your presence to discuss whatever is going on in the business. And together you can create a solution that is serving everyone, right? Where there is somebody who can leave their ego out, someone who gets emotionally triggered less or not triggered at all, but then also has the best of their team in mind.
Wow. Great words here, folks, from Iris Grimm, and she is, her firm is Doggone Leadership.
That's about the program that I offer. Yeah.
My diction has gone to the dogs. That's the only dog joke I'm gonna make here, but you've probably heard them all, right?
I've heard of many of them.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, you've heard them all. So, talk about the way that engagement works with you. and maybe some of the questions that you ask your clients to really get under the hood, as it were, of where they are. And I guess I'm asking this so folks that are listening can think about it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously, when when I do this program as a leadership development program, I have a self-assessment, or what I also call a play sheet, that they can fill out. And actually, it's also available on my website. It's just an irisgrimm.com/gift, GIFT, which is a series of questions, I think 9 or 10 questions, where people analyze their relationship with their dog and really look at it and say, all right, so, what is something where the dog, we always start out with, what is something where the dog evokes a strong emotion out of me, right? Because, and that doesn't have to be negative, right? It does not have to be that the dog is doing something bad or has a behavioral issue, right? It doesn't even have to be like that. It can be just even with my dogs, which I would consider fairly well trained. There are still things that I'm learning from my dog, and by me just looking at it and say, all right, what is it about my dogs that is evoking, a strong emotion out of me? And I give you an example. One of my dogs right now, Sunny, she's older. And when I got her 5 years ago, she was in bad shape. She had an arrowhead in the side of her rib cage.
Oh dear.
She probably was hit by a car, and they never took her to the vet. So her front leg the bone never grew together correctly. So she has severe arthritis there, and she can barely walk, right? It's tough for her to walk, and especially now since she's 12, 13 years old. Well, when I'm out with her, and I'm typically someone, because I also have younger dogs, I'm the one who can walk a fairly fast pace. With her, I had to learn patience, right? And that was really the emotion that came up, in me, was the impatience is for her. Come on, Sonny, let's go. Come on now. It's like, because I want to go, but she's like, I can't go that fast. So for me to say, you know what? That's all right. Here I am here. This is an opportunity when I'm going out with my dog, for her to do her business, for her to still go out and smell the flowers and smell something else. It's a time for me to slow down. It's a time for me to practice patience. It's a time for me to be grateful for what is here in the moment. And to be grateful that I can experience this right now, that I have the time to give myself it and to give it to her, right? So I always start out with a questionnaire where people are really going deeper into their relationship with their dog, to then analyze what is something that I here can practice, or what is something that I can learn that I then also can apply somewhere else in my life.
That you hit kind of close to home there, Iris. I'm going to have that in my head next time. Next time I'm out with my dogs. So. Oh boy. So Iris Grimm is in my head, folks. Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's what you want, right? Yeah, I get it. So let's talk about the types of clients that you work with. Are there any particular verticals that you are particularly passionate about working with, that this metaphor of dogs fits very well with?
The type of clients, most of my clients are business leaders, executives, entrepreneurs, so people that are in the leadership world, because again, leadership coaching is my forte. However, in the end, it's anybody who wants to step up and wants to grow, right? Through the relationship with their dog. Which means really, leadership is not, when I look at leadership even, I don't look at it from a title or position perspective, right? Leadership is behavior. leadership is a way how we are showing up for ourselves and for the people around us. Mm-hmm. And even if somebody is let's say in the lowest, or what would you call it, from a ranking perspective in a servant or a frontline position, they still are leaders in their own way, right? And if somebody sees that and says, yes, I want to grow, I want to become more of a leader in my own life and how I show up with people, right? These are the kind of people that I love to work with. Because, in the end, I always say, and people want to, what do people want to get out of life? They want to be happy, right? And they always think that happiness is an end product. However, life is all about growth. Life is all about experience. And when we are growing and when we have a variety of experiences, then happiness is a side effect, is a side product. It naturally comes out of it, right? And so therefore, what my program is about is using the dog that many people love, that many people love to learn even more from, right? Using that relationship as a microcosm to analyze themselves, to analyze what their strengths are, what are the areas that they need to work on, how they can partner with their dog, and then using that as a way of transferring it into the workplace and into their business.
Wow. Great work, Iris Grimm. I could talk to you for quite a while. And obviously, I could use the help on patience, but we'll get back to that later after we turn the mics off, right? Right. So, seriously, I want to get to the most important question, which is for those that want to be in touch and learn more about your work, how can they do that?
So they can go to my website, and that is irisgrimm.com, and check out there my blogs, check out, the information there. Obviously, I'm on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Iris Grimm, and or they can call me on my phone, which is 404-441-5370. And
go ahead.
And it's obviously Atlanta area code. However, my clients are all over the country.
Good. I'm glad you added that. Mm-hmm. Iris Grimm, folks, Doggone Leadership. Iris, it's been fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John. It's always fun.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, just a quick reminder. If you would like something better than the drive-thru for dinner tonight, and let me give you a few thoughts. Big green egg roasted chicken, tarragon and lemon roasted potatoes, roasted broccoli and feta cheese. Does that sound good? Well, I know how you can get that. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight, as a matter of fact. And I'm getting that from A&S Culinary Concepts. You see, they've got Let Us Cook For You meals. And what they do is you simply go to the website, asculinaryconcepts.com, decide what you want, put in your order, email Executive Chef Andrew Traub, and he and his team put it together for you. You drive by, pick it up, and take it home, and guess what? You're the hero. So if that's what you're looking for, you will be glad that you did. I promise you. asculinaryconcepts.com, or if you'd like to call for more information, 678-336-9196. And by the way, they do great corporate catering and corporate team building events as well. Folks, just a quick reminder, North Fulton Business Radio is on all the major podcast apps. We would love it if you liked the show, you liked what Iris had to say, share the show. It's not about me or Business RadioX. It's about our great guests like Iris and the other some 750 plus that we've had on this show over the past 6 years. So if you could share the show to help our guests, we would really appreciate it. So for my guest, Iris Grimm, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.